Liar, Duke, and Duchess never called the king on his birthday. The whole thing was made up. Meghan and Harry are becoming increasingly desperate, and their lies are becoming more and more outrageous. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the King YouTube channel. First of all, folks, let me apologize if I sound a little stuffed up and a little low energy today. I've got a cold or the flu or something, and I just cannot seem to shake it. But even though I'm a little under the weather, I just had to share with you this article that I found in OK Magazine. It's got some explosive claims in it, to say the least. According to Charles Switzer, writing for OK Magazine, Harry and Meghan may in fact have never even made that phone call to Charles on his birthday. I mean, they're just getting crazier and crazier, I swear. I was at least willing to give them that. I was willing to believe them that they really did call Harry's father on his birthday, but it sounds like even that was a lie. I never did believe that they sent a video of the invisible children singing happy birthday. I mean, we knew that was made up. But still, I figured that even Harry and Meghan were not insane enough to make up the phone call altogether, but it looks like I may have been giving them too much credit. According to Charles, Meghan Markle and Prince Harry seem to be trying to prove their value with the British royal family, and this led a broadcaster to ask a royal expert if this means a peace offering is on the horizon. So Kinsey Schofield is the royal commentator they were asking, and according to Kinsey, I mean, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex desperately wish it was. It's Page 6 that's reporting that Harry and Meghan had a turning point conversation with King Charles after that alleged birthday snub. Kinsey went on to add, and the fact that Meghan jumped on the phone too, I think, is a big deal. Sources close to the Sussexes told multiple media outlets that the conversation was warm and marked a notable shift in tone. In response, a palace insider told Page 6 that Harry and Meghan were total hypocrites for not keeping this phone call private. Harry and Meghan fight for privacy when it suits them. And yet, the minute Harry gets on the phone to the king, it's in the newspaper. I don't know why anybody would be surprised, though, that Meghan and Harry are acting like hypocrites. I mean, that's all they know how to be. Every single time an opportunity presents itself for them to contradict something they said before, or if they get a chance to do something they're telling the rest of us not to do, like, I don't know, waste a bunch of oil flying around in private jets, they're going to do that. The two of them are hypocrites through and through, and the crazy thing is, they don't even seem to realize it. Schofield went on to say, one courtier, which I think is interesting, has even suggested that the call never took place, citing the king's packed birthday schedule, his lack of a cell phone, and asking where privacy-paranoid Harry and Meghan would send a video of Archie and Lily singing happy birthday to the king when he doesn't even have a personal iPhone. This is a very good point that Kinsey is making. I mean, this is something I wondered too. We already know the king doesn't have an iPhone of his own. He's already said that. He doesn't want a cell phone. I do wonder if that's something Meghan and Harry even considered when they told their PR people what to put in these articles. Clearly, these articles came directly from Team Sussex. That is without a shadow of a doubt. Now, what were they hoping to accomplish with these articles? Who knows? It looks like they were trying to put pressure on the king to forgive them or to let them back in or something. But obviously, it's just backfired because, again, they invaded his privacy. They had no business to share this information, even if it was true. King Charles also knows exactly why Harry and Meghan are putting this stuff in the media. He knows it's because they're running out of options in America. After so many failures, they are desperate to reaffirm their connection to the royal family because that's all they've got. Kinsey Schofield was asked about Meghan and Harry's struggles in America, and she said, what we're hearing over on this side is that Harry and Meghan are struggling to prove their value without association with the royal family. You know, look at Meghan's Archetypes podcast, where she did try to distinguish herself from the royal family. It was Meghan talking to Paris Hilton and Mariah and all these American celebrities who did not do well analytically. Oh yes, how could we forget Archetypes, the podcast series where Meghan talked a lot about herself and not a lot about the guests who people actually wanted to hear from. And that's the problem with Meghan. See, she doesn't understand that anybody would be interested in anything except her. She believes we are all just as fascinated with Meghan Markle as she is, but the truth is, no. The only person who believes that Meghan Markle is such a great and wonderful person and a source of endless fascination is Meghan Markle herself. Kinsey also points out that that's why the Spotify deal fell through. She says that's why they lost their Spotify deal. What did blow up, even though it was a year ago, was their Netflix series, where all they did was trash the royal family. And this is a very good point that Kinsey is making. Anytime Meghan and Harry have tried to strike out on their own and do something that didn't involve trashing Harry's family, it failed big time. Because the truth is, as individuals, as philanthropists, as celebrities, whatever they want to be, Meghan and Harry are just not all that interesting. They don't have any real talent. They don't have any special skills they worked hard to obtain that they could teach other people about. They've got nothing. Even though they believe themselves to be so special and so far above the rest, the truth is they're two very, very average people. They're average looking, they're average intelligence at best. There's just nothing about them that's going to hold people's attention. This desperate attempt to get back in good with the royal family is also coming at a time when Scooby-Doo's book Trashing the Royal Family again is about to come out. Kinsey says this Omid Scobie book is not doing them any favors, and then when they leaked that they had not had an invitation to the king's birthday, they tried to save themselves by telling the BBC there was going to be a phone call. This is all a desperate attempt. Harry and Meghan trying to get back in with the royal family because they realize that's where their value is. It is a desperate attempt, isn't it? And it's crazy to think that once upon a time they had it all. If they had just been a little more realistic, if they had just been a little more self-aware, they would never have ended up in this mess they're finding themselves in now. They had a perfectly good platform from which to do a lot of good for the world. They could have involved themselves in whatever charities they wanted to be involved in. Harry would have had more time to devote to Invictus because he wouldn't have to be involved in all these side hustles that he is now. Sure, they would have had to do their jobs as working royals, but it's not like that job would have eaten up 100% of their time. They still would have had plenty of time left over to do whatever it is that makes them happy. But no, they thought they were so far above that. They didn't want to have to spend their days in service to other people. They could do a lot better than that. They could be billionaires in Hollywood, or so Meghan convinced Harry. And now, nearly 4 years later, I don't care if they looked happy at the Canucks game. They're not. They're miserable. Everything they have tried has failed. Everything has blown up in their faces. Everything they've done has backfired. I mean, at this point, what are they going to do? I don't know. And I'm sure they're facing some money problems because just look at how much money Meghan spends on clothing and jewelry. I mean, that alone is going to put them in the poorhouse. That's before we even get to the security bills, the housekeepers, the nannies for the invisibles, the mortgage. They are living way above their means, and it's going to catch up to them sooner or later. There are already reports that they're, $28 million in debt? Can you imagine such a thing? And I believe it. Because otherwise, how does it make sense that they're still spending so much money when they're bringing nothing in? It looks to me like after all these failures, they are spiraling out of control. They're losing their grip on reality. So I predict the lies coming out of Team Sussex are going to get more and more ludicrous as they become more desperate to reestablish that royal connection, to get some work for themselves, and to figure out some way to make some money, and finally to try to become popular. Of course, we know all of these are lost causes. They need to give up and figure out something else to do with their lives, but they're not going to. They've already shown that when the going gets tough, they're not going to listen to advice from others to maybe change strategy. Instead, they're going to continue to insist that they know best as they watch this house of cards collapsing all around them. And you, what do you think of the lies that Meghan and Harry are coming up with these days? Please let me know your opinion below in the comments section. If you enjoyed our video today, please don't hesitate to like and share it with anybody else who would enjoy it too. And don't be afraid to click the subscribe button to get more updates in the future. Thank you so much for tuning in, have a lovely weekend, and we'll be back to see you all tomorrow.